Kenrick Thomas on Infuse TV with Steve Foster. It's great to have you back here for Rise of the Warrior 9.
Appreciate it, man. Glad to be back.
It's been a pleasure watching you fight at Rise of the Warrior 8. I mean, your last fight, it was probably the most interesting fight that we probably had at Rise of the Warrior for a very long time. All for the bad reasons. And it was a fight that we had a lot of fun with. And it pretty much helped us out because we were so scared that we might go past 11 o'clock. The fact that you ended the fight in like less than 2 seconds really helped us out to be able to get out of there pretty early. Are you looking to do the same thing with this next fight?
To be honest with you, Kendrick, I'm looking to do that in every fight.
Okay.
I don't like to be in the cage very long, man. But I can go the distance, and I proved that, my last fight against a very tough kid out of New Orleans. I got some good cage time. So if I need to go the distance, man, I will. But, like I said, I'm looking to always, get in and out if I can.
That's great. Are you looking to do the same thing in this next fight the same way, or are you going to switch it up, maybe try to go to the ground?
Yeah, I think no one got to see, any ground techniques. That, everybody knows me as a stand-up fighter, and, they forget that, I have taken jiu-jitsu for a very long time. So, so if it does hit the ground, I expect no less.
Great. Now, your last fight was in New Orleans.
Yes. Now,
we all know it went the distance and it didn't end in your favor. What was it like traveling to New Orleans?
I actually love fighting in New Orleans. I fought, my very first fight was in New Orleans, and that was in Steve Miller's Battle Zone, and I actually fought in the very first Battle Zone show, and that was back in 2005. New Orleans is a good place to fight. I like it there. The surroundings are, especially after the fight,
Great. Now, I'm pretty sure that fight was a lot more challenging than the fight at Rise of Warrior 8. Now, the fact that fight was more challenging, what did you learn mostly about yourself?
That I'm a small 205er. We'll see. I wanted to fight, one way. He wanted to fight a different way. We both couldn't have our way, so we both had to meet in the middle. And unfortunately, it ended the way that it ended. So basically, I've been working, a lot on a little bit of everything, not just one particular thing. In Rise of the Warrior 8, my opponent was, 50 pounds heavier than me, 4 inches taller than me, so I had to deal with a lot of clinch work was what I wanted to work on, now this fight is more of, groundwork if I need to go to the ground, we'll just see what happens, man.
Now, this next fight, if it has to meet in the middle, like your last fight, what are you going to do differently this time so that it ends in your favor?
From the fight in New Orleans?
Correct.
Oh, this is a tough question. I'll try to stand and bang as long as I can stand and bang. I'm a banger, man. I love to please the crowd. And the crowd still doesn't know the jiu-jitsu aspect of this game yet. It's been around a while now, but still people think the ground game is boring and they doesn't really understand, the aspects of the game yet, So with that, especially this area here, it's known for, being rowdy and a lot of bar fights and, so I want to give them that, I want them to see a stand up brawl, and that's what I try to give them in all my fights, actually.
What do you think about the experience when you fought on the last card of Rise of Warrior 8? What was that like?
Man, it's actually the biggest show that I've ever fought in. I did fight in a big show in New Orleans, or it was Homa actually, and that was a pretty big card. But then Rise of the Warrior that took the cake, man. I mean, when I saw the energy, and I was just like, wow, this is a lot of people.
That's great. That's really good. Kenrick Thomas with Steve Foster for Rise of Warrior 9. Now, any last words, buddy?
Ready to go.
That's good. Infuse TV.